Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final episode of Season 7, Episode 27, Big League Sports Talk. As you should have titled this video, we're recapping the Washington Mystics versus the Dallas Wings. And also, too, my Week 2 rankings are complete going into the season. We're already starting Week 2. After Week 1, it's an interesting week. It was a great opening week. And I'm going to give my top 12 Week 2 teams. I'm going to go from 12 to 1, and we'll take it from there. And that's what we're going to do in this video, and also recap the Wings and Mystics game. Tomorrow, my plan is to get Season 8 underway. If I can't, please forgive me. I will go live Friday and get a couple videos out to you guys. But I need to get Season 7 uploaded on Spotify. So that probably would take a good. I'll take about half of the day. Like I said, I'm going to change up the intro for Season 8, different things like that. So definitely be tuned in for Season 8. So let's get into it. The Washington Mystics, after the last time we faced Dallas, a very lackluster performance. We went to Dallas and we got our revenge. The final score was 84-68. Actually, hold on. I need to be in a celebratory mood. Where's my clip? A couple things I wanted to take into account. Elizabeth Williams is actually back in town after being overseas in Turkey. Congratulations to her team as they won the Cup championship. Seitu Sabli did not play as well. After getting embarrassed, after a head-scratching loss, 94-86, defensively, we got checked. Dallas' ability to go one-on-one at times, whether it was Enrique, Alicia, we didn't make the defensive adjustments, and we weren't hitting shots. Committing turnovers and foul troubles was also killed us in that game. Isabel Harris had a double-double. Alicia Gray had a good 21 points. Enrique had 27. And that's even with Tierra McCowan, who played limited minutes after coming back from overseas as well. Elena Deladon and Ariel Atkins were the only two that were in double figures that game. Ariel had 19 and Elena had 20. Ariel, I think, who probably had the stronger defensive game. I believe she shot 75% from the field and 80% from three. Alicia Clark made her debut. She had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and assists in less than 20 minutes that she did play. We had to shoot the ball better. We had to not commit turnovers, and we had to just play Mystic defense. I thought those were the things that I was hoping that would be adjusted for this matchup, and I saw that. Dallas had some momentum coming into this game as they beat New York, a New York Liberty team that's still finding themselves, but they'll get it together, I believe. So I don't know. The first quarter, there was some. It looked really bad. When I mean bad, I mean we weren't hitting shots. We were missing easy buckets. Um, we were down. We were down 13 points. I mean, we cut it down to 5 going into the second quarter. Marina Mabry had 16 points, and that's not even taken away from what she had in the first half. She had 14. I know in the Zoom in the post game interview with Coach T, I was in there. He was talking about that we had he praised the poise that we had, and he just said he said we didn't take care of the ball early. Uh, that was a glaring. That was something that caught my eye, and then like I said, we just missed some easy. We missed easy shots. Like I said, we missed a couple layups. Uh, you know, easy buckets that I think that we should be making. Excuse me, I'm trying to make sure I get my thought across clearly and precise as I can. The bench actually what was the factor. He went to the. I mean, starting 5, they only had 6 points in the first quarter, and then he put Candy Burke out there, Rory, Shakira Austin, and brought it down to 5. And that's not even taken when also too Shatori Walker was in there. Like Natasha Cloud was coming back from health and safety protocols, and there's going to be a little rust, but looking at the first quarter, it was about like that's when like around 3 minutes. That's when he put them in, and Washington. I feel like once he went to the bench, I could see the nerves. I could see everything kind of starting to calm down. Elena, simply she stayed in the game, stayed in that, stayed and going into the second quarter. They started finding their rhythm, and Dallas offered man-to-man defense, and no, I'm sorry, we offered it, but Dallas, Kayla Thornton, Marina Mabry were just making it hard. But going into halftime, Shakira Austin, who I think has been playing well in her role, I feel like has from what Coach T said from draft night even into training camp, she was going to be on the bench morally just clapping her hands and getting garbage, she's going to get minutes, but it's not. He was confident with his top 7. But sometimes when I looked at the roster and looked and understand the injuries and, you have to be flexible, she has, when her number's called, she's definitely stepped in there. He even praised him too. Like Elena said it, the bench won the game for them. She had even though she had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Elena praised the bench. I think we can't. I think from what I saw in the first quarter, I think we were trying too hard. Like we weren't getting. We had easy looks at the basket, and we were not taking what the defense gave. We were just letting them offensively, just early, take us out the game. And one thing I've noticed, and maybe this is just me, Coach T is one of those, he lets them kind of figure out their mistakes, and he'll let them know, like, hey, well, we're working on this. Like, I feel like there were still some. I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know how to really describe it, because I mean, just it felt like to me. I don't think we really took much from the first quarter. We didn't take anything we learned in the last game. I think we were still making the same mistakes, not hitting shots. Um, on the defensive side, we weren't looking. We didn't look good, and going into the second half, the transition offense looked better. We were hitting shots. We were our defense. We were making it hard for Dallas to score. Like, there was a couple questionable fouls, but we did. The girls did what they had to do, and I'm looking at the Mystics. Kennedy Burke, who was brought in, um, brought a lot of energy. I mean, she just had a good. I think she had a good 6 points, but in her role, what she was asked to do, she stepped up. I'm also looking at the box score. I want to see more. I want to see Shakira Austin get more opportunities. I mean, Shakira Austin finished the game with 20 points. And on the defensive side of the ball, too, she had some great offensive and defensive rebounds. She had 8 total. She had 4 assists, 9 of 11, 81% from the field. 82, actually, I think it was. Tiana Hawkins, I'm still hoping. She played 18 minutes, but she had 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Didn't get but she missed 2 field goals. Didn't really get a lot of touches her way. And Rory, we know she's more of a pass first guard. She was definitely looking for her teammates. Alicia Clark still on that minutes restriction, where it's just made one was 1 of 3 from the field, 2 points. Maisha Hines-Allen went down. Coach T believes it's a deep thigh contusion. So knowing what that's probably going to be, she probably won't play Friday. And I think they go, well, let me see. Make sure. Because we play Atlanta, and then we got to play Chicago. We got to travel, yeah. So most likely she did not travel with the team. And she probably will play Sunday. Probable. So we'll see. We'll see in the post made the practice media availability, because Elizabeth Williams and Coach T are supposed to be on there for the Mystics. Dallas. I still think Dallas can. I still believe the Dallas Wings will make the playoffs. I mean, there was a good chunk of time where they weren't hitting shots. I think I credit the Mystic defense. But yeah, this was the bench definitely deserves a lot of credit. And I'm proud of them. They stayed into it throughout. I mean, the bench had 21 of those 37 points, and they all had 47 when it all was all said and done of the 84 points that we scored. Again, going back to Shakira, she was being aggressive on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. I know people are going to sit there and say, well, the Mystics should have drafted Ryan Howard, but there is a lot of there's a lot of potential, but I've noticed in these games so far, I've seen a lot of growth in her so far, and I credit that to Elena Deladon, Maisha Hines Allen. I credit that to all the vets who have made it easy for her and letting her play her game. Um, Also, too, you got to give Coach T credit. I will expect to see Shakira out there starting against Dallas. I mean, against Atlanta. Excuse me. I would expect that. So, hey, I think that we just got to work on the small things, making the easy, getting easy buckets, defense, um, and play at mystic pace. I think that was another glaring thing I did not see in that first quarter, but it showed it got better in the second half. Second quarter going into the second half. So we play Atlanta Friday 7:30. So I face Ryan Howard. Some other things I want to take into account. Natasha Clett had 10 points. Tori Walker had 11, if I remember correctly. Washington Mystics, a lot of people believed going into this season that Elena should hang it up. She's washed. All different things like that. One thing I will say that can be a pain are the injuries. There's always got to be an injury here and an injury there. But what I like about this team this year is that they're still fighting through and they're still resilient. They're showing a lot of poise, discipline, and when Elizabeth Williams is back out there, this Mystic team is going to be really, really interesting. Now, the only thing is that now with her back, it's how do you distribute those minutes? Kennedy Burke, you got to figure out to get her some minutes. You take some away from Shakira? No. You got to figure that out. So there's going to be a balance of how can I get everybody out there, and that's kind of what I'm curious to see what that's going to look now that Elizabeth's back. Because most likely your starting lineup is Natasha Cloud, Ariel Atkins, Alicia Clark, Maisha Hines Allen, Ariel Ack, and then Elizabeth Williams. That's your starting five. So then you've got Rory, Shatori, Tiana, Shakira, Kennedy Burke. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? No, I got everybody. That's most likely going to be your starting five. So, no, actually, no, that's not going to work. Tasha, Ariel, Elena. Alicia Clark will probably come off the bench, or Maisha. I just realized I had 6 start. No, okay. So most likely be Natasha, Ariel, Elena, Alicia, and Elizabeth out there Friday. Maisha might be the one coming off the bench, but it might be Alicia Clark that could come off. She could come off the bench. She'd be a good energy spark plug. But that might be no. That lineup is not too big. That lineup will work. You have a lineup of Natasha, Ariel, Elena, Maisha, Elizabeth Williams. That's a decent lineup because Maisha can shoot the three. Everybody can honestly really shoot the three. So, and then Jasmine Dickey, shout out to her. I mean, she didn't. I was hoping she'd get some minutes. Didn't get a minute. Didn't get any opportunity. Didn't even come off the bench. Charlie Collier didn't play less than 2 minutes. Tiara McCowan, I still think is finding her way with the wings. Only had 2 points. Enrique and Google Wiley had 6 points. That was that was interesting. She was 0-3 from the 3 of 12 from the field. But Alicia Gray was your leading scorer. No, I'm sorry, Isabel Harrison, Marina Mabry led the team in scoring with 16 apiece, and then Kayla Thornton and Alicia Gray. So we had 4 starters in double figures. So we moved to 4-1 on the year. Dallas falls to 500, which brings me to my next point. This is going into week 2. We have a ranking from what I saw in week 1. This is just the weekend for week 2. I know I'm a day or so behind, so please forgive me. So before I go into that, I am taking into consideration a couple of things. Everyone is now starting to come back from their respected overseas teams. I know Kayla McBride came back and right off the play helped the Minnesota Lynx beat the Los Angeles Sparks, which I'm still not over because I don't know what that kind of play calling by Derek Fisher was. So I'm taking all that in consideration. I'm also taking in consideration injuries, different things like that. So without further ado, did I upload the clip? No, I didn't. Hold on. Where's my clip? Rankings. So starting with number 12, the New York Liberty. Now, again, I'm taking in consideration injuries. This last game they had an abysmal turnover performance. They turned the ball over to the point where they had to call a players-only meeting. They lost to Connecticut. That was embarrassing. And a good portion of this team is still from last year, still on this roster. They had a second half collapse. And so far, again, it's still early in the season. Dee Dee Richards has been dealing with a hamstring injury. Rebecca Allen hasn't been there. Natasha Howard and Benijah Laney, I think those are your first and second option. They're still finding their way. And I think also too, I think you're still trying to figure out the chemistry. Yeah, they had the opening win against the season opening against Connecticut, but they get blown out by 33, and then lose to Indiana in overtime, and then Dallas, where they were down, and then to going into this week, having not a great performance against Connecticut. I do think there's a lot of inconsistencies. I can even see with Steffi Dolson, she's still trying to really, really learn the system. I can see that. But I do think the New York Liberty will turn it around. I do. There's still a team that I still believe will make the playoffs. Number 11, the Minnesota Lynx. This is going into week 2. Minnesota, up until last night, they've roster injuries, roster changes. It has been completely crazy. She signed Mariah Jefferson and Avina Westbrook. Hopefully, this gives them some stability at point guard, which last night it showed, in my opinion. I thought it was really weird that you signed Angel McCoughtry you signed her and then you agreed to a contract buyout and also to cutting Odyssey Sims. I didn't understand that. So it was kind of it's been weird going into week 2 watching this Minnesota Lynx team. Like, Natalie Ochoa has been injured. I can't think of the other. Domanis, the power forward. I can't think of her first name. She's been injured too. But also too, Jessica Shepard. Gotta give her a shout out. She's definitely her number's been called. She's definitely holding it. She's holding her own. But yeah, the Minnesota Lynx they have been really really interesting. But they got their first win last night, so congratulations. Number 10, the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever. They're a lot more competitive than last year, and I think some of that has to do with give credit to Lynn Dunn and also give Maria Stanley some credit. Like I know Nalissa Smith dealing with an ankle injury. We all knew coming into this draft, Nalissa was a pro ready player. Already had 2 double doubles so far in her rookie season. Destiny Henderson, who I think is going to prove a lot of people wrong. Not saying any names. Why she should not have been. She should have been a first round pick. Emily Enstingler. Quinn Negbo is starting to make me eat my words. I gave them a D for drafting her. And they have been all holding their own. Which has been, they have improved on the defensive side of the ball. They look really good. And Kelsey Mitchell, who I still think is an all-star, is going to be an all-star this year.
Guaranteed.
It's just shooting the lights out of the ball. Now, so far, they are a good 3-point shooting team. Now, they did play going into week 2 Atlanta. So far I've actually been able to enjoy watching the Fever because some of the games last year were kind of hard to watch. And I do feel like a lot of it was, I think, poor chemistry, and could have been some egos. I don't want to say that for sure. But you're going to get Bria Hartley back. I believe she's supposed to be back actually anytime soon now. And you got Alana Coates back, who in her Indiana Fever debut looked pretty good. So they played Atlanta Tuesday. They played Connecticut Friday. If I remember that correctly. I think that's the schedule. Number 9, Los Angeles Sparks. The moves they made in the offseason on paper look great. It's more of the up and down inconsistencies that I've seen so far. And some of that I blame them. I look at the play calling. I do have questions regarding the play calling. It looks really, really interesting, particularly last night. Like Jordan Canada, Neko Gumike, Lexi Brown, Liz Cambage, Brittany Sykes. I'm just naming a few that I'm this team can make the playoffs. But I think a couple things is they need I need Liz Cambage to be more. I need more. Like I feel like I don't know what it is, but I need her more dominance. I just need more. And I feel like they have it. Christy Tolliver, who's an assistant for Dallas, she probably won't be back until after this series, whatever happens. So you don't have Amanda Zari because she's sitting out this season. I just need more consistency from Los Angeles. Other than that, I mean, the team looks great. I think they're still trying to mesh and find what works for them and try to get the chemistry together. But I have no issues with that with Los Angeles. I think having them where at number 9 is fair. Number 8, Dallas Wings. This was a Dallas Wing team that beat us, smacked us in the face. Better. a better team this year than what I saw last year, in my opinion. Now that you didn't have, again, up until this week, Setu Sabali and Terry McCowan. Charlie Collier, I'm a little surprised that she's come on time that she really hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities. So I'm not sure if that is an indication that I don't know what that could mean for her. I think trading for Terry McCowan, I know they need a center, but you kind of drafted two of them. So it didn't make any sense to me. I am taking into account that you still have you have Enrique, Marina Mabry. They let go Mariah Jefferson because that experiment with having her out there, Marina and Enrique, just didn't work. So I think also too the system didn't work for Mariah. So I think in Minnesota that she's going to thrive more better, in my opinion. I felt like starting off the season, you beat New York on the road, and then they beat us. I feel like they definitely, and also too, the battle of the turnovers, I also took that into consideration as well. Number 7, the Atlanta Dream. I'll be the first to admit the Atlanta Dream are raising some eyebrows, and I credit Coach Wright and her in helping changing the culture in Atlanta. And more importantly, Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard, who is my rookie of the year, has been holding the fort down. Tiffany Hayes is still not there yet. She should be back Friday. I mean, the transition. We knew that she was another, again, pro-ready player. We knew that. But I also want to take into account that the start of their schedule is not anything that sweeps you off your feet. The only true test was Atlanta. It was Las Vegas. And then really to Friday. So that's really I want to see what they look like against Las Vegas. How they play Washington, Connecticut, Seattle. I'll even put Los Angeles in there. I kind of want to. They did beat Los Angeles. I apologize. Let me take that back. Scratch off the record. I want to see what they look like against Washington, Connecticut, and I'll take it from there. But the Atlanta Dream, they have really, really been playing tremendous basketball so far. And they're now 4-1 going in now in week 2. So, number 6, the Phoenix Mercury. Their schedule, the start of the schedule was interesting. Yes, and their home opener, they lost to Las Vegas, and haven't looked. They lost last night, but you could tell that everyone's focused. I still think I could tell with Brittany Griner not being there, which I'm praying that she'll be home soon. It weighs on your mind. Kia Nurse, who's still dealing with an ACL injury. Shout out to Kia Nurse for making the cover of Slam. Shout out to Kia Nurse. And I'm looking at all those things, taking consideration. Tina Charles, who has just eased her way, seems to be adjusting well in Phoenix. Skylar Diggins, we all know her and Deanna Taurasi, we all know what they bring to the table. They're all going to do their thing. But I think it's more of down the stretch, staying focused defensively, and they're just going to have to just lean on each other when it counts. Those are my two observations that I've noticed of Phoenix so far. They just got to just really just lean on each other and just just tough it out. I do believe that it will get better for them as the season progresses because I think you're kind of still learning. They're still learning the system. I think they're still learning Coach Nagard. I think she's still learning them in a sense. So I believe it'll all shake itself out. Number 5, the Seattle Storm. Been kind of a weird week. Going into week 2, Epiphany Prince, Brianna Stewart. They had to go on health and safety protocols. Jantel Lavender as well. Mercedes Russell is not played yet. So that's kind of been the only like weird observation that I've noticed. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I said, "Wait a minute." They kind of have the same roster. It's just the just the absence of the health and safety protocols was just of those two were crazy. And there have been some observations where they have not been effective as a cohesive unit on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. Example, Las Vegas. I feel like they had that game and they let it get away from them. Yes, I have seen some improvements, but it's more about just consistency. Like Gabby Williams, I know she's going to expect more of a lot of her. Brianne January. I do feel like once they get everybody back healthy, they'll be fine. So I'm not worried about Seattle. Number 4, the defending champs, the Chicago Sky. Same thing. Like the Van Quigley, they have been playing well. Kalia Copper should be back this week as well. Emma Mieseman, former Washington Mystic, has gelled nicely into their system. Dana Evans, wow, she's definitely emerged. I think she's definitely proven her worth to Chicago. I do feel like with Chicago, I really haven't seen anything that is any of concern. I mean, the only thing I would say that was weird was opening night for them was I would say some of the foul calling. That was about it. That's about it. But other than that, I mean, once you get Kalia back, I think Chicago we should be right there, a top 4 seeded team. Number 3, the Washington Mystics. The only thing for me for Washington was losing to Dallas. And some of the injuries too. You can see without, again, Elizabeth Williams, Alicia Clark, we've held the fort down. But there have been inconsistencies with the offensive, defensive side of the ball. And that kind of showed against Dallas. It's not like it's the end of the world, but when you turn the ball over, Dallas took advantage of our turnovers by scoring 26 points off 21 turnovers. That can't happen. And again, that's a team on paper we should have beaten, even though we didn't have Natasha. That's really kind of just been the noticeable stain on the shirt. It's just the loss to Dallas. But other than that, they have been playing well. And so with the offense, again, now that we got Elizabeth Williams back, we're getting back everybody healthy. I still believe Alicia will be on minutes restriction and probably most likely Natasha. Once everybody's back healthy and on the defensive end of the ball, we clean some things up, the Washington Mystics will be also a top 4 seeded team. Number 2, my team, one of my 2 teams to go to the finals, the Connecticut Sun. All you need to know is they're going to the finals. No, I'm just kidding. DeWanna Bonner came back from overseas, and Courtney Williams had to serve a 2-game suspension. Alyssa Thomas, who I feel should be comeback player of the year, is putting the league on notice. She's actually I believe she currently leads the league in scoring. So I think everything is starting to gel for them on the offensive side of the ball. Now, kind of curious to see going into this week, and I've already kind of seen it. I kind of want to see now how Courtney, Jonquel, and Alyssa, how they're all going to merge along with DeWanna Bonner. I am a little disappointed that Brianna Jones is not. There's a couple games that she's getting a good amount of touches, and then she's not. So I would like her to get at least 15, 20 shots. Thank you. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding all about that. No, but Connecticut has been playing great basketball. I see no glaring issues. It's just wanting to get everybody back. I just want to just see how it just meshes, it just gels together. There may be some chemistry, but there'll be. I just want to see how the cohesiveness looks, which shouldn't be no issue. Because again, they signed Courtney. They needed another shot creator on the offensive side of the ball because that lacked in the playoffs last year. And they drafted Nia Clouden. So, like, can you because he likes to play big. DeWanna, Alyssa, Jonquel, and Brianna Jones. Can you play with a lineup like that? Or are you going to make the adjustment of playing small? That's just something we're just going to have to see throughout the season. And number one, the Las Vegas Aces. Wow. I have absolutely no words. This Las Vegas Aces team is on a mission. I've said that before. Becky Hammond, their offense is more fleet. Their pace is just immaculate. Asia Wilson, who's my MVP candidate, Dearica Hamby, Kelsey Plum, the emergence of Jackie Young has been amazing. And like you can see the offense is more modern, and they're just, my gosh, like I don't know why I didn't see this last year with Bill Lamb. I should have seen this with Bill Lamb. I would have liked to, but they're just playing well. But I still have concerns with depth because you've got Kelsey, Jackie, Dearica, and Asia. They're playing over 30 minutes. And I know Raquana Williams is dealing with a foot injury. I know she's supposed to come back at some point. That was what I was kind of, I thought they would have done in the draft, but they cut their 8th overall pick and the 11th overall pick, which I'm still really not over. So I think that's fair. The number one. So week 2 has been off to an interesting start so far. Let's look at the rest of the week 2 for the WNBA. Seattle Storm beat the Chicago Sky 74-71. We've got the Connecticut Sun beat the New York Liberty 92-65. That was the game. After the game, the Liberty had the players only meeting. The Dream beat Indiana 101-79. Aces beat Mercury 86-74. The Lynx beat the Sparks 87-84. We got the Minnesota Lynx and the Aces tomorrow. The Aces are going to win that game. And the Mercury versus the Dallas Wings. You've got the Fever and the Sun Friday. Mystics and the Dream. Sparks and the Storm. And then in the weekend, at the Mercury and the Aces again. The Lynx and the Wings. Oh, Sunday. Oh, no Sunday. Oh, no, wait. No Sunday game. We got Chicago home and Indiana and Connecticut. So the Las Vegas Aces are beating the Minnesota Lynx 95-80.
Guaranteed.
The Phoenix Mercury will beat the Dallas Wings 87-70.
Guaranteed.
And I'll hold off for Friday's games. So until then, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. That concludes season 7. Thank you for the support you've given me and this channel so far. I do sincerely appreciate the love and the feedback you give me. I did not think we would get to see 7 seasons so far. It's been interesting. It really has. So just thank you. My closing message. I want to give a shout out to Erica McCall. Had an opportunity to listen to her on her podcast, Bird's Eye View. Great podcast, by the way. Check it out if you hadn't already. Was on there with Ari Chambers. And I did not know she was dealing with all the injuries and just staying faithful through and committed with her relationship with God is a good testament of strength, positivity. I think we need more of that, in my opinion. We need more of that. I think sometimes in my opinion, we tend to lose sight and tend to lose focus of the big picture of what God has in store for us. And let's keep it real, man. Like these, they don't go overseas for fun. They play basketball because what they make here is not compared to what they make overseas. They make more, and I've talked about that. And just talk about the mental and the physical toll from not just being in the W, but playing overseas. That's a lot. And it made me just hearing how she's just been very upbeat and positive, and she's admitted that as a human, yes, she's had a testament of strength. It's something that I really, really appreciate, and she reminded me of that. And the thing is, you don't have to be an athlete. That's an everyday person. We have to be reminded that God, He tests us in many different ways, and we have to be aware of okay, God help me through this. I think sometimes we try to, like, I'll use a football reference. It's third and inches. The team, the defense is giving you they're giving you the snap count. They're daring you to pass the ball. Instead of passing, you could run it. We try to run a quick play. Instead of calling a timeout, going to the sideline and saying, "Coach, okay, coach, what's the play? What are you drawing up?" I think sometimes we're so quick to lose sight of that. Well, no, I'll be okay. Instead of sometimes just praying to God and saying, "God, look, man, I need you in this moment." And again, for me, my relationship with God is that He will never lead you astray. He's showed me to be optimistic, and more importantly, just stay faithful and just stay in the Word. That's my message. Just stay upbeat, just stay committed, and just don't lose the vision. Stay focused. Like, we're going to have our trials, we're going to have our days. We're human. It happens, but as humans, it's what we do in that moment to get over that. Once we get past the obstacle to get through it, what are we doing about it? That's something that we have to continue to be better at. But until then, this is Nathan signing off. Y'all have a good night. Thank you. I will see y'all in season 8. Stay up.
Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.